Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road. Up the street of the day. No wonderful wizard of Oz.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Curtain, another Tang Gang and now Skeptic Haven collab, and we'll get the details here on that here in just a few minutes. But as always, your boy Oz here with you, and next to me here on screen, Phil. How are you?
Pretty good. Having a little cat rescue adventure last couple days, so that's something. Found a couple little kittens about 5 days old, abandoned in the middle of a hot asphalt front of a store. So we're trying to keep those things alive until we can find someone to parent them. So that's something new and haven't done before. You know,
That sounds exciting and stressful at the same time.
you know, sometimes things just drop in your lap, and it's just like I can't walk away from these little things just meowing on the driveway and in the heat. They're going to die if I walk away. So,
Well, that's a good secular animalist right there, if I've ever heard of one.
yeah.
Hey, Wes, what's going on with you, man? How are you feeling?
Doing good. Just rebranding. It takes a lot of work to do. Phil knows he's doing a lot, so much appreciated, Phil. And that's about it. Just working hard.
Hear that?
Yeah, we put a lot of thought into it. We considered renaming Wes to Lester, but we decided to keep it a producer Wes because everybody already knew him. So that's staying. So I just want to let everybody know not everything is changing.
No.
I'm glad you glad you decided against that. One of my former pastors, his name was Lester. So we might have had to have a conversation with. he and I don't get along. But just real quick, just want to plug a couple things for Tang, and then the rest of the evening we're going to talk about your guys' platform and those involved, and you guys are, the newness, and then where you guys are headed and goals and vision and all that. But before we dig into that, just want to remind everybody that on June 25th and 26th, we are going to be in Fort Wayne, I screwed up on mine. Fort Wayne, Indiana, and it's going to be at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum. And Shana Q, Paula Gia, Dave Warnock, Cynthia McDonald, Dr. Josh, the man of the hour, Seth Andrews, myself, and others will be speaking. And there's a handful or two more that will be there as part of some of the panel conversations. So it's going to be awesome. And if you go to, if we have any of the mods in the chat, if you can throw up either the Nightbot link or just put in, you can type in jesusisamyth.com. And it'll take you straight to the site to purchase the reservations. And then I did finally lock down the spot where we'll have the after party for those that purchase the premiere package, and that will be at the Summit City Comedy Club. It's not too far from the Coliseum. But we'll have full access to the bar area. And then for those that can't go, if you're a patron of Tang or you're a channel member, we're going to be streaming the after party live from the bar, so you'll get to see a bunch of drunken shenanigans from your favorite YouTubers. But so we have that, and then last two things. Tomorrow, I thought for some reason I thought it was today, but tomorrow I'll be live with Cindy Plaza tomorrow, talking about Better and Tang and Atheist Your Way and all that. And then at probably 10:30, 11 o'clock Eastern time, it's me and the homie, Pasta Mike, and it's the first time in a little over 2 years now that he has to sit in the hot seat, and I'm interviewing him, and I'm asking him all the difficult questions. So don't don't miss that. But enough about Tang. Let's talk about,
pineapple on pizza, stuff like that. Tough questions.
yeah, the really hard hitting ones. Yeah.
So I have a question about Better. This is the first time I've seen Shane the Skeptic. Is he? Is this his first time on stage?
I'm not sure. He's actually decided to not do the event, so I just don't have the newest one up there. So
It's his loss. I really like the guy. So
yep, he was going to talk on epistemology, and so he's decided not to speak. So no harm, no foul. It's all good. But yeah, on the newest one, I didn't notice that we still had the old one on there, but on the newest one we have Madam Who. Madam Who, she's a secular like pop artist. So
ooh, that'll be fun.
Hey, Ozzy.
Yo.
Hey, I heard you say my name like once, and I just wanted to pop in. First of all, shout out Waz, shout out Phil. I just got off the phone with, you guys know The Skeptic on YouTube? John?
Yeah.
So John's coming to Better, and he's going to be the guy in front of the camera. I'm producing the whole thing. I'm going to be filming the whole thing, and John's going to be interviewing everybody, and he's going to be hosting the show. So we're going to be doing live streams for folks that can't make it. We're going to be doing VIP live streams. We're going to be doing interviews, pre-recorded stuff. We're going to be doing all kind of good stuff, man. We got a lot of stuff under wraps, and we may even do a little bit of twerking if Oz plays his cards right.
Oh, we can definitely twerk.
I like the idea of a VIP live stream. Does that mean we're going to have like a Seth cam? You know, as he walks around.
Phil, you know, if you're a member of the patron and the YouTube channel, we'll send you a little sneaky code, a little link, and be going live from Oz's club in the Summit City Comedy Club. And you may see Seth Andrews and Cynthia McDonald cutting up a rug. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're going to get to see the on screen, but not like on screen drunk version of all of your favorite YouTubers.
And I am in my bathroom, by the way. But much love. I'm going to holler back at the crew. And Jesus is a myth.
Look, bro.
Take care.
As soon as I saw him pop up backstage, I was like, "Here we go, here we go."
Yeah, I like the echo on the voice. It's just because it just kind of comes in. It's like booming, you know, bust mic, blah 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 blah.
By the way,
he's not just in the room. He's all like all over the room. all of a sudden.
And like at the end of it, I am in the bathroom, so.
Well, you know, green screen will fit pretty much anywhere. So.
It's true. And then the one other thing I was going to say, I'll talk about more about this tomorrow night with Mike, but be on the lookout. So Bar and then Blatheist and myself are doing like a 1 or 2 hip hop track project together that has a little bit of atheist content, but it's mostly just us having fun. And so far what we have is pretty fucking badass. So just be on the lookout. We'll probably do like a release stream, so we kind of have fun with it. But yeah, that's happening.
Good, cool.
Love you, Mike. We will. We'll talk later tonight, but I'll holler at you tomorrow night. Oh, show.
Such expectation. What's he gonna say?
I think he did on accident. All right, so
He's
tonight
gonna taunt us and just like pop in every like 3 minutes just to do that and say nothing just to drive us nuts now.
Psych. So on the social medias I put, exciting news / announcement tonight, so I'll let you guys explain this, but I'll kind of build it up and then you guys take it from there. So there's been some change or two, whatever, I'll let them explain it, but change or two within PSF, and they're now rebranding, as you've seen on screen in the intro, to don't say
Skeptic.
Skeptic. I couldn't. Well, see, what's fucking me up is I have a buddy that's a Christian, and he has a ministry called Safe Haven.
Yeah.
So it keeps fucking with my head. Yeah. There you go. So if whatever you guys want to share first, kind of start us off. PSF, kind of what's the reason for the transition? What does this new name, Skeptic Haven, mean to you guys, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, I know Wes is waiting for me to start, but Wes, jump in anytime here. So
Okay, I will. Good start.
Maybe I'll come back to back history a little bit later, but one of the things that drove me from the very beginning was even the name PSF, Promethean Secular Foundation Frontier. It was an odd name to say, and an odd name for people to know what it means when they first see it, and then when you have to go through explanation to people, in addition to just them seeing and wanting to show up, it's a marketing problem. So we kind of thought we needed a better name. I think that predates me. That goes back a ways, and so that is one piece of it. Yeah, pronouncing is one part of it, and sure. And the other thing is that it was PSF was started up by Josh and Wes and a couple others, again before my time, and it was put together as kind of the vision that already, but it had shifted in Josh's perspective of wanting to do something a little more hardcore. And Wes has kind of been the heart and soul of this, wanted to sort of keep it on where we're at right now. So and Cat the Humanist would be the third one in that group. They decided to sort of go different ways and split off PSF and create something new with the name unknown at that point. So, and when I started a little bit ago, I saw that the three of them as they were starting out, and this goes right into what you want to talk about, Oz, with how shows develop and how you can get things going. They were putting out such good content and a lot of volume of content, but very little else was happening. They weren't doing any marketing. There was very little organization. There was a lot of last minute, because it kind of came together, as many of us do when we start these things at sort of an amateur level, sort of very quickly. And if you're putting out a lot of shows, you can get overwhelmed with it. That it's all you can do just to get the show out. So that was one of the things that attracted me to come in and help out and try to do a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. Now, when this opportunity came along to make a shift, I thought, well, let's do it right this time. So let's be more meticulous about it. Let's be carefully choose our name. Let's take the opportunity to think how we want to develop and brand and some of those types of things. Let's do it right this time. So yeah, definitely. Let's try to do it right this time. Again, we're not professionals at this level either, but you learn and then you do it a notch better. So we're hoping that this is I don't want to go into full detail just right up front, but that this will be an improvement. The Wes and Cat obviously jumped on the logos right away, so that's this one. That's our new logo right now. And Wes, why don't you say a few things to add to what I just said there?
I don't really know what to add. And I'm not sure if this is a new thing or an old thing, just getting back on track. I think really it's just getting on track where we wanted to be before. Yeah, Josh had a little bit different ideas, so we are moving forward with what we had in mind in the first place. Trying to put things in action. We got you, thank goodness, to help us with the social media and stuff. There's still a lot to be done, but we're on track now, I think. And so I'm really happy. It's a lot of work right now, but I feel like we're on track now. Very happy to be doing this.
Okay. I didn't know Phil was getting ready to talk, so sorry for the dead air.
Okay.
Hold on, everyone. We have somebody backstage.
One at a
Jena.
time, then. One at a time.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
Apologies for my tardiness.
Well, you're here now. That's what counts.
If it's on the Tang channel, it doesn't fucking matter.
That's fair.
Yeah.
How are you, Jena?
I'm finally sitting down, literally, because I sit on the floor. So I'm good so far tonight. Excited. Very many congrats to the hard work for Phil and Wes and Kat. I see you, girl. All three of you strive so hard to rebrand and reinvent, but also evolve the now Skeptic Haven. So congrats to all three of you, and I'm proud to, of course, be a host, even though I haven't done any work lately. I apologize for various reasons, but I'm gonna get myself in gear once I have certain things in my life more settled. But it's definitely important for me to feel a part of Skeptic Haven, just because I value the content that you all offer. It's different, and you have a variety of different shows and topics and guests, and that's unique to you. So congrats on all that hard work, and I know it will be successful.
Thank you. That is the plan.
Yeah.
Of course.
It has been growing. So, the PSF prior to this had been growing at a nice pace, and as we look to trying to hit 1,000 subscribers and everything, it was a chance to just sort of, like we kind of said before, to organize, to get ourselves in gear for when we get to that point too. And part of that is to get on different on multiple social network platforms and coordinate them. So that's something that's happening right now too. It's in its early stages. So
no, and that's how you early stages. That's how you you hit the ground running, and you make the best of it. So
yeah, I will say that interesting, whatever. I had the opportunity to experiment in the background of what we were doing before on my own Believe in Reality channel. I started that up on TikTok at the same time that we started a PSF TikTok, and the two were done in different ways, and so there was a sort of this head-to-head check of which method works better. And basically the method that I was using has worked quite well. So it's using basically our regular video and cutting shorts and then formatting them for TikTok. Well, I know this works. So now I actually know how to get followers and friends and things. And then I can apply that same method to Instagram and rebuilding a Facebook group. The old one didn't have that many people on it anyways, but this one has the same amount now in like 5 days, for example. I know I can get us on probably up to about 1,000 users within 60 days on Twitter, like proper users, like interested people in the field, in the subject matter, not just anybody who will see the name kind of a thing. So did have that little bit of a couple months of being able to hit the ground running. So
yeah, and I will say that's important because obviously you want the views, you want the subscribers, you want for that to grow in order for to meet the algorithm and all that good stuff. And you have to be involved in the social medias and on various, almost nearly all platforms as much as possible to grow a decent following. But that just hits the nail on the head. Like, you can have as many views or subs, but truly having a solid foundation of active viewers and active patrons and active supporters of your channel, that's key. I wonder if either yourself, Wes, I'm sure Wes has done this. Of course, Wes has done this. I have high hopes for Wes, and Kat have maybe discussed ways in which being more active and involved with your viewers in order to have that solid foundation of people that come on a daily or weekly basis to view certain shows or all shows, and then also to keep striving to build on that and have them be willing to share and like your content. Like, are there strategies or plans to help develop that?
That's probably the most difficult question.
I come in swinging.
Because well, it's the thing that everybody wants to know, and if we all knew exactly how to do it, we'd all be doing
Of course.
it. So far, and I'm not an expert in this stuff, so I'm learning as I go. So far, it seems to be that it appears to me that the active viewers the core viewers come in volume proportional to your subscribers. That seems to generally be true. But as with meetup groups and things like that, you can get yourself 1,000 followers and you'll still get 20 people at meetings. So it's a huge differential. So I think it's going to come as we grow. I mean, I've seen the development from PSF when I came on at like 250 viewers, even though they were doing terrific shows back then, they didn't have the viewership. And now we're just approaching 700. It grows slowly, but it does grow. And some of the stuff that I've been doing, like doing the TikTok on the side to try to bring people attention, every TikTok video would get a couple of new people that had never watched the show before, every single one. And those types of small bites, and they do add up over time. From my own experience on working on Facebook and my own stuff, it really is a long game, I think.
Definitely.
There are YouTube videos about how to jump to 1 million and blah blah blah, all this other stuff. That's a difficult thing because those are really chasing the algorithm too. And I'm less interested in that and more interested in people who are interested in the content, right? Because those are the people who, like you say, come back with loyalty because they like what you're doing. You get less interested in attracting people that just come once and then never come back. It's easier to get more of those. But that's not what you want to look for. You want to do something that you enjoy doing in terms of style and subject, right? And then you want to attract an audience that likes what you're doing, and they come back and give them different ways to interact and different types of subject. Everybody's, some people stay in a very tight niche. We're in a bit of a sort of a wider niche with little mini niches in between because the shows are all a little bit targeted, a little different. So.
That's a fair response.
Yeah. I will say then, go ahead, Oz.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the name was an interesting and kind of fun journey too, because I was, we talked about this in what should we name? And the first thing I was thinking of is that I can't tell you. I don't even have an opinion on what we should name it because it's like what's open, what's available, right? Because there's a lot of shows out there already. So this was one of the challenges up front is how do we find something that has an interesting name, has some sort of flair to it of a its own style, and we could have to get back to that, Aaron. Don't let me forget that. Start that question, somebody. He distracted me. Okay. So picking the name. So we went through and listed like every name we could think of with, of course we started with PSF. So we started centering on secular, every version of secular, every version of skeptic, every version of all sorts of related humanists and whatever names. We ended up with a list of 120 names. And then it's just like, then take that list, and before we even have these great grand discussions, because the discussions are going to go round and around, right? Everybody's got their opinions, and nobody's quite sure. So first, just like rule out stuff that's unavailable. So I checked about a dozen platforms, YouTube, Facebook, the bigger ones, and then of course some smaller ones too, the .coms, the .orgs, the .nets, what is available across the board. And that took our 120 names down to about 15 right off the bat. So we don't have to, discuss things that are not possible, because that's going to be a waste of time. So by the time we got down to it, we had 3 names, and ultimately 4, because Skeptic Haven turned into our 4th one, that were available literally across the board. And so when it came time to make the switch, it was done all within 24 hours. And it was fun, I gotta say, to be able to, in this day and age of the internet, where everything is, every .com is kind of taken, to just be able to go, here's the .com, here's the .net, lock that one down, lock the .org, lock down the Facebook, lock down YouTube, lock down Instagram, lock down Snapchat, just all of them.
And that's smart. And I have a point of question, then I want to go to Aaron's question, because that's important too. Did the name come first, or did the idea or concept of the development of this new rebranding come first?
Do you want to take that, Wes, or should I? I've been talking a lot. Why don't you?
No, that's fine. Please continue, Phil.
Okay. It's not coming to your mind.
It's not really coming, so.
We had a pretty good amount of discussion on whether to go with secular, because Secular Haven was one that we were sitting on. It was one of our early, one of our final 4. And then we ended up with a discussion about secular versus skeptic. And there were some SEO elements related to how common are these search words. So humanism was one that was dropped because of that. Let's talk talk was a phrase that we used and then dropped. So we decided that skeptic was sort of a little more all-encompassing. But then the Haven piece of it came along that it really added a softness that we liked, sort of a community, a sort of safe place. So that's one reason that we originally locked onto Secular Haven. But then, I don't know, secular didn't quite work for us in the end. So skeptic is a sort of harder word, if you will, more philosophical or something. But then it sort of contrasted with the softness of the safe space Haven. So this is what we ended up with.
So basically, more direct, the name came first before the idea of the change for the channel.
It was kind of coming together. I'll butt in for a second. It was kind of coming together at the same time almost, because everybody had to give their opinion. What is this about? What is PSF now? Skeptic Haven, what is it about? What do you want to encompass that is about all the shows? So we had to get everybody's opinion. What does this mean to you? Where do you want to go with this? What kind of platform and channel do you want it to be? Once we figured that out, and also a few other things, like just is it available, that narrowed it down to just very few. And I kind of made the choice at the end to go without secular and with skeptic, because we want to make sure to be able to get the scientific minded as well. And I was afraid some of our scientists and doctors or whatever wouldn't like that as much, because we wanted it to be more of a safe place, but also a place they'd feel more comfortable than an atheist channel.
In a sense, that makes sense, because you do have a lot of guests from different ranges. They're not all necessarily atheists. So, I mean, that makes logical sense. And, I think even though I'm part of the producer chat, exclusive.
Yeah.
No, but I know most, if not all, of why this reasoning came about, because even though I haven't really been actively participating in the discussions, I still actively read, so I can get myself updated. So I'm asking, obvious kind of pointed questions, just so the audience kind of gets an idea of
Sure.
how the development and everything changed. But that's enough for me. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Oz, what about Aaron's question, or whoever's producer tonight?
I was about to say I'm not. I'm not.
Oh,
thought you were.
I'll
put it up then if I'm.
Oh, thank you, producer Wes.
I wasn't
What are
sure
your
either.
target audiences?
Yeah, who are your target audiences?
Go ahead.
I'll go ahead and talk some more in a little bit. Our target audience is something we really, finding the name. We had to figure out who we were all together, and then that helped with the target audience. As anybody with that share, all kinds of people with those core values that we have of not just being against religion, but also pro many things: pro love, pro science, pro philosophy, pro reasoning, pro all things considered about life, really, because we want to build a better future for our kids. We want to do, and that's a little bit different for everybody, but we try to be all encompassing with everybody that we know that is important to us in this. That's about anybody but the trolls, really.
I mean, there's some risk, obviously, to going too wide, but we have the benefit of having multiple shows and each show can have a slightly different target. Obviously, Women Atheists Unload, for example, has its own. I want to be able to serve people at different stages. I don't
It's reasonable.
think we're serving the religious audience per se. We're not going after religious people trying to change their mind. I think we're definitely serving deconstructing an audience as a piece of it on some shows. We are definitely serving post deconstruction, and that's more of the science material where you stop paying attention to religion and start paying attention to what actually is real in the world and the science. And who knows if we'll touch on politics. I actually would like to serve, which we haven't yet, but we might have a show in development to serve some of the new converters kind of thing. Those are probably our main three right now, and it's enough right now, So
yeah.
With the name of Haven, I think we do need to get something there to make a haven for people leaving religion. So it's been mentioned a few times now, and we'll just have to see.
If I can jump in there, Wes, I was going to ask that earlier, and we got ahead of ourselves. But the question I would ask is, was there any talk or discussion about the word haven maybe being a distraction or a deterrent for those deconstructing and deconverting? Because for me, it would be. Did you guys have any conversation about that?
A little bit. Well, no, actually, not a little bit, especially with Cat. You're right, and that is a potential negative, but the positive that really was decided on is that to serve the more discriminated against audiences that need the safe place, and we're talking about LGBT, trans, possibly some of the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and some of those more specialty groups that kind of need a place because they've left some place that either did them harm. So there's other issues, mental health issues, and so that element of it sort of overrode any anything like you're talking about us, and us, to us also it indicates the word community. So that's something that we are going to be developing more of, and the interacting on Facebook. For example, this week we started up a new Facebook group, and I had put it as a public group, thinking it would be good to have it as to expose ourselves to a wider audience. And Wes and Kat caught me on that right away and said, no, that was the original one was a private group specifically to be that sort of protected haven. So we're going to leave the Facebook group as a private group. We're probably going to start a secondary, either a group or a page, I'm not sure, that has a public element, and then we'll make it known up front. If you want to be public, you go here. If you want to be a private conversation, especially for people that, Jena, you just went through this, that are atheists and not out. You know, you don't want to be talking in a public room. So
No, that's a very good point. You allow for that option for both those that are out and are comfortable with that, and those that are not and are not comfortable with that. That's brilliant. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, so that really overwhelmed the issue as it just threw the scales in that direction.
Well, everybody on the screen right now, anyway, and some in the chat know that I at this point will pick the word haven over fucking community all day, every day. So that's for damn sure. But Wes, I'm going to hit you with this zinger. So Phil brought up the word plan a little bit ago, and if I were to, and you and I, Wes, have these conversations frequently. I'm going to put my business hat on, or my business consultant hat.
I always hate it when you do that.
I know. When I hear the word plan, and obviously there were things that whether it was different ideas, different goals, or whatever between Josh and what you guys had in mind. That's the reason for the split. So everybody knows it was on good terms. Like there's no hostility.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. You still talk.
Which is healthy, and it's the same thing with Pasta Mike and I. It's we decided to spare our friendships rather than go after YouTube, and it's the best thing we did. But Phil brought up the word plan. Now a plan is just a hope and a dream, and it's bullshit without execution. So what have you guys put in place as far as whether it's accountability or structure or whatever, to make sure that the same thing doesn't repeat itself, and that the checks and balances are there to ensure that the plan is executed and you earn the results, you see the results that you want.
Okay, one of the things I suppose would just be accountability. We each have our responsibilities now. Phil knows we still need to continue doing this, but Phil knows he's in charge of TikTok. I know I'm charged some things that just knowing who is in charge, we can, and if it doesn't get done, we have somebody else we're good enough friends. We also are good enough that we can take criticism from each other and tell each other, hey, you need work on this. So far I haven't really got on Phil or Kat, either one, and they haven't got on me, but if it comes time, then we're prepared to do that and make sure stuff gets done. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've noticed that's kind of changed a little bit too, that we are setting those boundaries and those responsibilities to a certain person to get done, and now we can expect it to get done with a little more organization that we didn't have before.
Well, and so that would be that would still be the plan. You're still talking about the plan.
Yeah.
So
okay.
What does the execution look like? What are the tools, the methods, whether it's an app or whatever it is, as far as communication, and make sure whether it's somebody's doing thumbnails and creating, streams or whatever the tasks are, what are you doing to make sure that I know some of the things you and I have talked about privately, and other things that I've talked with like you and Phil and Kat and others about. What are the measures that you've applied or are now applying that will you're doing your best to ensure that those same mistakes aren't duplicated?
Some of it's just scheduling myself now, that I'm making sure that I know what I'm using my paper again, that you actually told me to do a couple of years ago. Even while I'm in a chat right now, I have a piece of paper ready to write down things that I start thinking about, so I know what to say next and don't forget, which is tough to do. I just started redoing it, and luckily I don't have to go on stream all the time like you guys do, because it's tough. I find this really difficult to be on screen, but scheduling, organization, I think, is a lot of it, and then part of it's just a lot of sweat, a lot of work getting stuff done. Still continuing to. Another thing off that I'd like to say, I'm also trying to do my best to spend a little time offline with my wife, just because that's important too.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And
wifey
without
time.
that, yeah,
Nice.
there hasn't been much of that yet, but I'm hoping.
It's important. It's important.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
But
Maybe we can do a show all together if I can get around sometime. Do a little.
that'd be badass. Oh yeah. And Phil, I know you wanted to jump in, but because it's behind the curtain, for anyone that watching, viewing now or later, part of behind the curtain is also helping other people that are getting ready to start or have just started their channels. And one of the things Wes just brought up, and it's something I used to do all the time, and I don't do it hardly anymore because I put in so much repetition the first year and a half, where I would have a pen and a pad, and that way if there was a point I wanted to make, and say I was on with on screen with Shane Bilowitz, and he's long-winded as fuck, and I can't get a word in, right? So I have to wait. So I'm making bullet points. That way, when he finally runs out of gas, like 3 hours later, I didn't lose all my points. But obviously, part of that being facetious. But take those notes, and what you'll learn little things to help trigger that, to where you don't have to take as many notes all the time. And there's little things you can do. But you start taking notes. If you look at a lot of our earlier streams on Tang, you'll see I got a pen in my hand, and you see me looking down all the time because my fucking brain didn't remember shit.
All right, Dr. Dre.
So just it's a little pointer. But go ahead, Phil.
I was going to say, one of the things that bothered me was that there were some elements that were there before, where you had precursor activities, like you couldn't get something done until you got somebody else's opinion or someone else's password or this kind of a thing. So that really slows you down. I mean, something that could take half an hour would take like 5 days, those types of things. So there's a lot more coordination now. I'll give you a couple of elements for people doing other stuff. The first one is something that actually was in place already, and that's a common calendar. We use an app called TimeTree that we all have access to. That is, and on the notes go on that per planning show. The show planning is basically Wes and Kat, and then sometimes I'll get involved just to post thumbnails or something. But what guest is on there? Did the guest approve, or did they drop out? Does it need a replacement? Kat and Wes do the thumb together and then put it on the calendar. So if it doesn't get done, if one of us drops the ball, another one can come in and grab that graphic and put it up. So I've had that call a few times. We share Google Docs. We're using that as sort of a center point now, both in Word type docs, but Google Docs, and also in spreadsheet form. And that's something that's going to be expanded to be used as a back reference too. For example, a list of guests that have been on and what their specific field is. So then we come up with this topic down the road. It's like, who was that geologist that we had on, or do we know any geologists? We'll have that on our spreadsheet. We can go back to that. And the third thing that comes to mind is there's a lot of passwords, especially when you get into multiple social media platforms.
Girl, let me tell you.
Yeah, right. This day of trying to keep yourself away from, North Korea or whoever's trying to screw you up, just to play.
America.
Yeah. So I just sent Wes a list of all the passwords. So now there's duplication. So none of us are in a position to get stuck if one of us drops out. Oh, we can't suddenly get on this particular site. So the shared passwords are there. A little bit of that on the financial side, not quite yet. I think we have to get a little bit of money together and put together an LLC, and then we can do that properly when you've got its isolated bank account and probably 2 signatures on money and things like that. That'll, like you say, balance and prevent things from happening, and prevent wheels grinding to a halt if anybody's out for whatever reason, they get sick or they have find abandoned kittens on the street or some strange things like that takes them offline for
That
2
happens.
days. Yeah.
I don't know anybody that would do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I knew a guy once who took a dog in, but never a cat. Jeez. Let alone 2.
So, and it kind of the last question in that regard that I had, and this is me playing devil's advocate. So don't anybody get this twisted. But This is me playing devil's advocate. The original name and the new name change. And I've even on this stream heard terms like softer, those kind of things. And I think there is a place for the soft approach. I'm beginning to believe that there's less and less room for that, if I can be honest, when we look at the world and like Roe versus Wade and all that, like that soft approach to me, that this is how we get there. But that's a whole nother conversation. Why does it seem like, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate, I'm trying to even figure out how to formulate this question properly. Why does it between the last name and this name, and then on this stream, when asked about goals, why does it appear that you're afraid to talk about the word atheist?
Yeah, I am not, but go ahead and answer, Wes.
I don't mind calling myself usually an agnostic atheist, but I don't mind saying that I'm an atheist to most people, but I like to say when I have that haven, I guess, because I have a lot of people that look at me in negative light by me saying I'm an atheist in real life. And sometimes it's just easier for me to use, as you said, a softer word. And that's, for me, that's how I handle it. Not everybody handles that. Some people advertise that they're atheist, and that's fine too. I think there's room for everybody. And kind of your motto, Atheist Your Way, includes that. I love that motto. I'd steal it from you if I could. But we try to be all encompassing and be there for everybody and let everybody do it their way.
Yeah, for me, I think I am actually on the harder side, and I've been getting more that way over the years. There's a phrase that keeps rolling in through my back of my head, and it comes with the mood, and so it comes with dependent on how you were approached or whatever. And it's release your inner Hitchens just comes to my head every now and then, where I just want to get that out and tell people that it is not even a debate. The earth is not 6,000 years old. I'm not even going to debate that issue with you, kind of a thing. So there will be some hardness, and I do call myself an atheist, even though it's it's not entirely accurate. You can get into the atheist agnostic thing, and I'm not going to go there, but I do like the harder edge of the word atheist. It didn't seem to fit into the channel name because the channel name is more broad. Like we say, it also includes the post deconstruction phase where you're not really talking up, the secular piece of life is, and secular is actually in our secondary name, living a secular life, where religion isn't a part of it. It's like out of the picture completely. So it depends on what show we're doing, and that's where we can be harder or softer depending on the shows and even on the topic. Obviously, you're going to see women atheists unload get harder on the topic of abortion right now. And you're gonna see me get hard on some of the science denial stuff. At the same time, I don't want to give a platform to those who are putting out misinformation. So we also don't want to be clickbait. And you're not going to see Darth Dawkins here. You're not going to see flat Earth debates and things like that on this channel. But there's going to be some.
You're not even going to see our Tangelo, Oz.
I left the show today, and I have with the channel I was on. I'm not even gonna name it. The channel I was on. I told the channel owner, like, it's nothing against you. I have no issues with you. I do not platform with that motherfucker. I do not platform. Yeah. So I'm out. I'm good. But last question, and I know Jena will have plenty of questions, and because I need to shut the fuck up. I've been talking. My last question there. Even though, yes, it is Atheist Your Way all day, every day. Like, do that shit. I don't care if you're an atheist, agnostic atheist, whatever. Do that shit your fucking way. How do you promote it? And not saying you have to say that. You don't have to say Atheist Your Way, but how do you promote normalizing atheism and encouraging people to atheist or disbelieve the way they want to disbelieve, that feels good to them and makes sense to them? How do you do that through a skeptic lens? Because I could be skeptical of everything, but atheism obviously has to do particularly with a God claim. So how do we take that and move normalizing atheism forward through that?
I think you're going to see that in the choice of the shows that are done. And like I say, we may actually have a harder edge show coming up to cover some of that. I think of, we did spend a lot of time on Secular Haven versus Atheist Haven, or Skeptic Haven. Frankly, for one, a lot of these atheist names were completely unavailable. So that was a big part of losing the atheist right up front. I mean, because we had to have, at the very least, if somebody had that name on YouTube, Twitter, or TikTok, that name was eliminated, and there went almost all of atheism and atheist. So that was actually, to be practical about it, that was actually the big piece. So some of that discussion really wasn't had because it couldn't be. So we have to serve that a different way. There are other channels that go hard, and like Clubhouse and those kind of gloves on, knuckle battle kind of things. So that stuff is out there. There are people that will interact with others. I will not personally, and I hope our channel, at least my vote on our channel, is to never interact with somebody like Ken Ham, who's just going to put out misinformation. So yeah. So it's, you see how I'm saying there's kind of room in between what you and I are saying, and it's kind of finding that sweet spot that we'll be doing. I mean, because we have the name Skeptic Haven, that does not exclude us from doing anything about atheism at all. There's only so much you can have in a name. My local group is Atheist Agnostics and humanist, and the damn thing is like that long. As much
Yeah.
as it's a good description, it's just way too long.
And for the record, I'll alley you, but to Jenna, I was playing devil's advocate. I 100% know that you can still use any name or title skeptic and still in a very healthy way, in a very effective way, promote the normalization of atheism and humanism and all of that. But for viewers or listeners that don't really know what's going on, or maybe they're just now catching up,
Yeah.
by the changes and all that, I'm trying to play devil's advocate there. But no, Jenna, I know after me rambling, what questions do you have?
I mean, I have a couple that are a bit more pointed, but I don't know, Wes, if you wanted to follow up on what Phil said at all.
No, but I do have another point I would like to make real quick.
Please.
Just that, actually, I'll go ahead and name her. Jen Aldrich is now a pantheist or something, or no, Nordic
Yeah.
something. But she said something a while back to me that I really took to heart. That being an atheist to her at the time was she hated the argumentation. She didn't care about the Bible. She didn't care about science. A lot of that things, philosophy, reasoning, she wasn't about that. And it really went back to the Atheist Your Way kind of thing. That we all have our own ways to deal with religion. For me, a lot of times now, I got tired of debating. I love philosophy, I love science, but I got tired of debating. And I don't give a hell what religious people do. I want to do other things with my life. I want to move on to... I still want to get rid of religion, but I also don't want to spend my life arguing with religious people. That's just not what I want to do. Those that do, we want to encompass them as well. And we want to have people, a safe haven, safe place for people getting out of that. And a lot of them are angry, a lot of them are hurt for understandable reasons. Luckily, I was a cradle atheist, so I didn't have as much of that. I do have some hurt. I've been kicked out of a party for not being a Catholic, which was enough for me that alone just hurt my feelings being in front of a dozen people drinking beer and they're telling me to get out because you're an atheist. That's a little thing to most people probably, but compared to what other people go through. But that did hurt me. And I see how that kind of thing can really hurt a lot of people in a much harder place when it's their job, when it's their family. Friends, sure, that they actually are really good friends with. There are all kinds of ways that people get hurt really bad from religion, and I want to be there for them. And I also want to do other things as well. And that's just playing for everybody. That's just, it's hard to be all-encompassing like that, but I hope with so many shows that we have that we can help cover those people.
It's a tough task. It is. And just bridging from that, it helps with one of my questions, and then I have another to follow. And maybe I'll just allow Phil to answer this because, in a sense, Wes, you kind of just gave me a feeling or a sense of what you personally feel as far as your purpose of even wanting to have the time and dedication to want to evolve and change into a new channel. You could have just packed your bags and did your own shit. Because I know you personally, Wes, well, both of you individually have your own respective channels too, in which you add content to. So you could, by all rights, do that on your own and not have to continue on with changing and rebranding and things like that. So Phil, I'll ask you, what do you personally see for yourself that you want to be seen now with Skeptic Haven that you have not seen, or maybe have seen with PSF, former PSF previously, or something like you had mentioned a couple times, a more hard-hitting show that does address those things as far as atheists and religious people against atheists and things like that. So what personally do you want for this?
Well, initially, I wanted to you look back at the library that they've got. They're over 200 plus videos, significantly over. And even when I started, they were over 100 or something, 150.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the content get to a larger audience that it really deserves. So that was a piece of it. So some of that you're not going to see change hardly at all, with a couple of minor exceptions like show titles and things like that. I'm about meeting people where they are. I've spent enough time interacting with people with false beliefs of all types that I'm not really I've kind of decided not to put too much effort and time into that, because it's such a long process. I do want to put out I do want to counteract bad information, but I don't want to try to convert anybody on the spot, sort of thing. So
Of course.
you're gonna see more of the science edges from my and then of course Sunny is very, I think, into that element too. So, and once we're at that point where we have the proper audience for the shows we're doing, then we can take that next step of saying, what piece of what the demographic that we want to serve are we not serving, and then that's where we can put a new show or something like that. And then of course you have to grow your income a little bit to be able to do that. You've got to.
If I may interject a little bit, if I may.
Yeah.
Because I see this, and I know Oz wants to kind of follow up on the question I proposed, but I need to interject here because I've talked to plenty of then starting out baby channels that now have grown to how they are now, and that was roughly maybe 3-4 years ago, when I just would have a whole lot of discussion, interviews, or Q&As with certain YouTubers that are now bigger in their content. And of course, they started out with days, almost a daily basis, there was a show, or it was either the same show or just multiple shows on pretty much Monday through Sunday, all the freaking time. And I think the one thing, and I can attest to this as a working nurse, burnout is a thing.
Yeah.
You pushing yourself to, okay, well, maybe I'm not getting enough of this audience, so let's create another show. That's a task, because obviously you need the hosts, you need the guests,
Right.
you need availability. I know Wes is more behind the camera person, and I know Phil, you're much of the same too, and I know Kat is of the same too. So neither of you are I won't say capable. Neither three of you are to put yourselves in that host seat if that is something you want to develop. So maybe being a bit more conscious to that aspect of, creating more shows or creating an extra show or two does add the added stress and burnout to it. So, is that something you'll definitely be mindful of?
Totally.
And I'm burnt out.
Yeah. And we've all seen it. We've all seen it with too many people. It's just it's kind of a learning curve for a lot of people. Which is, again, why Oz is doing, one of the reasons he's doing this show, to help give some of that information about don't make this kind of same mistake. When I say that we want to do this or that, there's a caveat to that, and then Wes and Kat know this, it's behind the words, is that, but not until we're ready to, which means with the audience is big enough, that show is stable, that has a good enough audience, our Patreon, our income is at X level, so we have the ability to bring in another person behind the scenes or something. It's not just like you just add on and add on and add on.
Good.
That was an issue that they had early on. And again, that's one of the reasons that I jumped in. So when I say that there's other elements like a harder show, that's not going to happen right now. And so
that's okay.
I can tell you when those things are going to happen in terms of when I would like them to happen. It's stable income, probably several $100s a month from Patreon, for example, and the Patreon page is up in some detail about these various goals that we have, and what we will do, so people know what's going to happen with their money. And you don't go beyond. And Wes and I, just this last couple of weeks, we made a decision to not spend beyond what we have the ability to do. and that's a piece of it too. So you're going to see growth, but you're going to see growth as we're able to do it because we wanted to be able to do it in a sustainable way.
Yeah, and burnout, and I'll pass this to Oz because I know he wants to ask a question here, but that burnout can come in all forms: the financial, the interpersonal between the three of you, striving to get hosts and guests and things like that. But if all else fails, just get Cynthia. She'll do anything. Just kidding. I love you, Cynthia. Love you, girl. I was just calling you out. But
as if any of us, even Cynthia, doesn't have the ability to get burned out, so.
I know she's good. Oh my God, I love her.
But
What's up, Cynthia? And Madam Who is in the building. And there's Math Pig. What's up? And so a couple things there. I just want to, Wes, if you can pull up Aunt Kathy's most recent.
I love Math Pig's voice. Gotta say.
Most recent.
Recent.
Okay. I found it. Sorry.
Aunt Kathy. That's my Aunt Kathy, motherfucker. Real life. Back the fuck off. And I am her favorite nephew. You heard it
She
here.
told me I was.
I don't give a shit what you thought you were. For mental health sake,
it doesn't matter what we each believe. It matters what it's true.
I have justified true belief, assholes. For mental health sake, there has to be a balance: work, family, fun, and rest. And yes and amen. Yes and amen. And this is
sounds like
something
something
that
I should listen to more.
I was just trying to say this is actually in real life, away from YouTube. This is something that Jen and I have been talking about, and and finding that quote unquote like work life balance, and what does that look like? And just last night I was telling Jenna about the exercise I learned years ago. It's little rock, big rock, boulder, and you filling your schedule, with the most important things, and your the word just left me.
Priorities.
Priority. Thank you. Your main priorities, and there should be like 3, maybe at the most 4, but 3 of those priorities. Those are your boulders. Then you fill it with the big rocks. Then the little rocks fill the space. And any of those little rocks that no longer fill, you discard. And that time, because all those rocks are time. All of those, you now take those little rocks, or even some of the big rocks, and you take those, and now you apply them to you and your. Whether it's a vacation or doing something you're passionate about, or hobbies or things like that, and you continue to, reevaluate that every, year or whatever, and go through that, and and knock off or cut off the fat, trim the fat, and it is important. And like even today, I knew we had streams last two days, whatever. Then I have tonight, and then 2 streams tomorrow, and then I go back to work, and I realized that I thought I was streaming with Cynthia tonight, and as soon as Jenna was
Cindy.
like, what did I say?
Cynthia.
Sorry. Cindy tomorrow night. My bad, Cynthia. Cindy tomorrow night. I was like, well, then I need to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym because it's good for me. It's good for my mental health, and it helps me. And I made myself leave the house and go to the gym and do all that. And it made me feel even better doing that. So I'm sorry I went on a rant, but yes, what Aunt Kathy said was, that's real life. That's real fucking life.
That's true.
Yeah.
Love you, Cynthia.
Yeah.
And Math Pig, I am wearing a YouTube shirt, but it's a YouTube atheist, because that's what all the online apologists call us. God-hating, sin-loving motherfuckers is YouTube atheists. So that's what that is. But then the question is, Phil and Wes, I'll ask this, and then I'll shut up again. And Jenna, by all means, you have the last 2 or 3 questions, because we're at hour 10 essentially. So if we run back and look at the top of the show, part of the reason for the the rebranding and Josh going to do his thing was he was maybe looking for more of an aggressive style or however we would want to define that. But I've heard now, I think 2 or 3 times in this stream that there's talk of this new show or new episode that's going to be hard hitting or aggressive. So what's the difference between this and that?
Well, you're reading a little too much into that, and maybe it's just the way I said it.
That's why I'm asking.
Because yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is that that's something we could do. I mean, I do have an idea, but it's not something that's in current development, frankly. So that's a future thing. So don't put real stock into that at this point. It's one of those, like, you usually don't hear about this kind of thing because it's like it's in the development department of the company and it doesn't get public until it's closer to. So it just kind of came because of the discussion that Skeptic Haven means it's all soft and squishy kind of a thing. So it's, like I say, it doesn't mean we can't do something hard. I do have an idea. It may not come to fruition. It may be something that happens 6 months, 12 months from now. So can I jump to real quick? I want to answer Randolph Richardson's question about a TikTok address.
And as you do that, real
and
quick,
I don't mean to evade. Does that answer sufficiently? Do you think, Oz, or
no, that's the answer is fine. And as you do that, I just want to say, Venerator 666. We don't have to post a comment or question. I'm not going to address anything with Brett Keane or any of the shit to deal with him or the fucking idiots that are to do with that circle of the interwebs. We don't fuck with that shit.
Yeah. The TikTok address, there's actually 2 because it's the Believe in Reality TikTok channel, but I was actually using it and I started it to use this as an experiment with the PSF content. So it basically has PSF clips on it. So just search Believe in Reality and you'll find it. However, I do want to put other content on there that's my own stuff, but I don't currently have plans to do that right now because I want to focus on what we're doing now. Again, don't get overloaded, don't take on too much. So what you do really want to follow, more importantly, is the Skeptic Haven TikTok channel, which is currently, it's up, it's live, but it has no content. It will in about 2 weeks. I've got a bunch of editing to do. And then I'll be doing my friend inviting, and you'll see that jump from kind of a blank slate to a good dozen plus posts and several hundred followers within about 3 weeks or so. So bookmark those 2. But at the moment, it's more important to bookmark the Skeptic Haven one. Everything's under Skeptic Haven. So again, we were able to go from site to site and pretty much just grab it all.
Yeah, and Venerator, you're good. And if I sounded aggressive, I'm sorry. I just when there's certain names from the toxic parts of YouTube, when I hear them, it immediately rubs me the wrong way. So I apologize. I didn't mean that to come off the wrong way. But yeah, there's no, like, I love Rage. Rage is my homie, but he knows and I know we have 2 completely different styles, 2 completely different channels, and he fucks with shit that I will never fuck with. So it is what it is. It's all love.
Plus, Oz always sounds aggressive.
What's that?
What?
Huh? What?
Huh?
Good. We got time for another question too there, babe. Hit him up.
Yeah. So this is just, it kind of just bleeds into us, wrapping up and everything like that. Because I know with the transfer of certain accounts and personal things, I'm not going to dive into all that, but I know what's significantly important is that you definitely had a good growing following, a good growing patrons on the previous PSF connection. And so I think even as a patron myself, when I was from PSF, I had to, double check, okay, where's my money going? So I had to click the link. So be sure, if you have not already become a patron of Skeptic Haven, and if you were previously a patron with PSF, make sure you switch up your monies to know where your monies is going. Okay, that's just all I'm gonna say, because I just actively did that for myself right now. I wanted to make sure that I'm supporting what I know I want to support, if that makes sense. So be sure to become a patron and become a patron.
And if you have questions about it, ask me or Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't really a
Please
question.
get it.
That was just my own statement.
Yeah. Yeah, I would encourage that too, obviously. And I would also encourage people to just put it on their calendars, maybe 6 months or a year down the road, to check out what Josh is doing and see if you want to support what he has put together down the road. So let's not forget about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know, to my understanding, the departure was decent and in order. It sounds so Christianese. Sorry. Sounds like something my mother would say.
Decency and with order.
Decent and in order. It was done mutually. Obviously, Wes can speak more than I can. I know, still in contact, still friends, things like that. So obviously, whatever Josh's venture is, separate from the now Skeptic Haven, is obviously a separation, but still, as what we actively do here on TANG, bridging channels, helping each other, supporting each other, becoming and growing a network. That is within the name, the Atheist Network Group. We want to develop and grow that network, and of course be helped to, obviously, Skeptic Haven, be helped to various other channels that we participate in, involve ourselves in. I know Math Pig was here. Biddy has her own channel that we help and support, and I tune into Randolph's streams and everything, and Bilowitz. They're growing their own. Everyone has what they have, and I guess this leads into my final question: is what help do you need? What help does Skeptic Haven need? Are you reaching for more people to assist with production, more people that are okay with being on camera or speaking about themselves or about whatever, if they have specialties? What specifically do you both recognize as the help, like immediate or long-term help that you need as far as developing, continuing to grow Skeptic Haven?
Well, let me say first, I think the first thing I would like to see is more attention to the shows. So give the shows a look when you show up in chats. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Post that type of thing. At the moment, I think we're okay for staffing. We are actually having discussions even today about
lockdown. Got it.
Bringing in some co-hosts to fill in when people have just life happens, kind of a thing. So I nothing major comes to mind right now. Certainly something will come up down the road, I'm sure. So those are the first two. Wes, what comes to mind for you? What do we need right now?
We would take volunteers anytime, I think, but I think we're... Hold on. Okay. I think we're pretty good right now. We're preventing burnout and stuff right now. But yeah, if anybody would like to volunteer for anything, just ask. We can try to find things that you want to do and can do and all that. We are looking at more hosts and things for women's show. I think you'd probably use one. I'm not sure. Kat would have to decide on that. That's more her area. We could use a few people on different platforms to kind of help out, but we've got ideas who to ask on that. If other people have ideas that or would like to help us get guests, things like that, probably that's something sometimes we could probably use help on. I do okay, I suppose, but
Well, you do great at getting gas, but it sounds like you.
Oh, hell yeah.
If there's
Yeah.
someone that wants to help us, or
Yeah,
help
I
me
wanna
get
give
gas. It's not like you said get gas.
No, not
Oh, I need
gas.
help getting gas. Paying for it. I need help with paying for it.
That's why you live in California.
And I'll second with what he just said there about when he talks about platforms. There's going to be a lot more beyond YouTube. So you're going to see posts on these different channels, Instagram, etc. Initially, and the way it was being used before, just because there really wasn't the time and the staff to do it. The Facebook group, I'll just give you an example of PSF. I think it got up to 150 viewers and it just stayed there. And you look at the page and all it was links to the shows. Now,
Yeah.
that's not interesting to the audience, right? That's not interesting to a follower. So one of the first things that when I started experimenting with the Believe in Reality channel and not for Believe in Reality, actually for PSF, but I was playing with it because I had control of my own channel, was to make sure that there is valuable content so that the channel is valuable in of itself. Because obviously you can't go spam on other places. You're not allowed to do that. So you want to have other outlets that have useful information. And then you've got some audience to maybe throw in your links and your reminders on, I don't know, maybe a 1-to-4, 1-to-5 ratio or something at that level. So I suppose if we could use help right now, it'd be helping to populate the social media, the media things.
I'm gonna tell you right now, whatever magic sauce Pasta Mike has, because that Facebook group normalizing atheism, he doing something right. So maybe link up with him.
Yeah, that's
Just saying. Hi, Pasta.
Yeah, he does
less
a
than
job.
6 months, 20,000.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That is impressive.
That's like, hey,
But
you done. Like I talked about the fucking pinball machine the other night. You done fucked up the pinball machine. You done fucked up the game, bro. You done fucked up the game. And
I
he-
know. And,
He broke the code.
he did, but he don't work. He don't do nothing with his life. So he got the time. I'm just kidding.
Hey,
But seriously.
your girl said that. Your girl said that, not me.
But there's something about the pasta sauce and whatever he has drawn success as far as the following that he has and the engagement is crazy. And it's not just links to various things. The engagement is there. So maybe reach out to him. Yeah, I'm totally throwing out his services for no reason whatsoever.
It's because he puts me on there twerking. Let's be honest. That's true.
If you want more twerking of Oz,
One twerking
please.
video.
You get to see me in tight, great sweatpants twerking. I mean,
Ooh.
holla,
You can't get
holla,
rid of it.
holla.
You got it in blue tint. You got it in red tint. You got it in yellow tint.
Yeah.
You got it in purple tint.
I mean, who would want to get rid of that?
Holla at your boy.
If you want to see more Oz's twerking, please support the Skeptic Haven Patreon page.
We'll put it in.
Give the full max.
We'll put it in. We'll put a special Patreon tier reward.
I was about to say, Phil and Wes, I will send you the unedited
$2.
and you can do whatever you want with it.
Really?
What?
Just don't send it to me. Whatever you do with it, don't send it to me.
I'm thinking animal heads and different locations. Let's see what could be done. Anything could be done on a toilet.
Oz
so.
twerking around the world. I like it.
All around the world. Yeah.
Just Photoshop him twerking in like Sweden and Bosnia and all that shit.
We're gonna have to have a Skeptic
TikTok
Haven.
material.
I do agree with Venerator right now. Y'all looking like the devil who created you.
Cat, I cannot see it either, and I like
We're
it.
gonna have to have a Skeptic Haven, maybe a Reddit thing, for people to go where they're guaranteed not to see it. How about that as an option?
That's true.
That's not fair. Everybody should be privileged to see me twerk.
I'll take 2.
right, so we're
recovering,
recovering
from twerking.
Twerk. Oh, not twerk. I'm sorry. My bad. So we're at an hour 24. So we will jump into the Discord. Well, y'all can hang out as long as you want. I'm hanging out for a little bit. I know Jena has some work to get done. I have some work to get done, but I'll jump in for a couple minutes. Jena,
I'll be there.
you don't.
Yeah, I'll head over there too. So
I'm not. You do whatever you want, babe. You
Okay.
do whatever the fuck you want.
I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. Hashtag not ladylike.
Oh,
It's a thing I'm starting. I'll make shirts.
it's
maybe.
not a thing you're starting. It's a thing you started.
That too.
I like where the conversation shifts, where you've got guests on screen and suddenly it's just you two. It's just you two talking.
Hey, what up, bro?
We.
Hey, what up,
What
bro?
up, boy? What up?
Well, what I was
Doing
going to say
something.
before we wrap it up and go to Discord, and see, Phil, that was a great segue. That was actually a great segue. I was going to say, Phil and Wes. I don't know if congratulations is the right word, but whatever it is, Tang Gang, we support you guys. We love you guys. We appreciate what you do, and even though we play devil's advocate and we do things different, and that's okay. That's what should make this hood beautiful, is that we do things differently. But I'm going to take Jena and myself off, and any closing statements you guys have about the new direction for Skeptic Haven, you guys close it out.
Wes is muted.
Thanks
Oh
for
my God.
putting me on the spot.
Okay, I'll start then.
Go ahead.
You know, what strikes me is what Jena asked. What do you guys need? It's just like I'm really curious to be asked that question again 6 months from now. So I would say at this point, make sure you find our new stuff, find the new channels, get yourself into the right place. Skeptic Haven, Google with all the major social media platforms, and like us over there, and just let us do our things. Send us comments and feedback as we go. We are always on a learning curve, and always willing to learn. So I hope you like what we're doing. Let us know if you do. Let us know if you don't. I'd like to hear it.
I think I just want to say ditto on that. We're working hard. We have some plans what to do. I think just with your support, we'll just keep on trucking, keep on doing what we do. If you want to help, let us know. Me, Phil, or Kat. That's about it. Let's just atheist our way, like our Oz says. And I think religion, as far as religion goes, I didn't say all I wanted to. I think we all approach religion in a different way, with our softness or hardness, and when it comes down to it, I think religious people need to hear different approaches. There's room for the McDonald's and Arnros, and there's room for softer approaches like mine, or philosophical approaches like some of us that are really good at philosophy and reasoning, and science as well. And we just got to keep on tracking, doing our best, whatever that is. And that's all we're here for, just doing our best and giving some people a voice that I think need to be heard. And that's about it.
Yep.
Hope to
And
see you around.
shout out to Kat the Humanist, who you're now seeing on screen, but she is always working on this too. So she's been doing nonstop terrific work. So thank you, Kat.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you guys all over the internet. Good night.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.